The first question says which number has no reciprocal. So the number that has no reciprocal is actually 0. Because if we do 1 over 0, that's undefined. Hence, the number that has no reciprocal is 0. Find the coordinates of the points where y equals to 2x squared minus 7x plus 3. So let's start with finding the y coordinates. So for the y coordinates, I'm going to put x equals to 0. So that's going to be y equals to 2 times 0 square minus 7 times 0 plus 3, which is going to give us 3. So our y-intercept is going to be 0 and 3. Now for the x-intercepts, I'm going to put y equals to 0. So that's going to be 0 equals to 2x squared minus 7x plus 3. We're going to use middle term breakage to factorize this quadratic equation. 2 times 3 is 6. And factors of 6 which can replace negative 7x is going to be negative 6x minus x plus 3. We're going to factor by grouping now. So we make a group out of the first two terms and the last two terms. Between the first two terms, we have 2x common. So it's going to be x minus 3 in the bracket. And between the last two terms, let me just rewrite this, minus x plus 3. So between the last two terms, we have negative 1 common. So that's going to be x minus 3, which means between 2x and negative 1, we have x minus 3 common, and 2x minus 1 come in the second bracket. So your coordinates are going to be, for the x-intercept, 3, 0, and 1 over 2, 0. So let me just highlight the answer. This is your y-intercept, and this is your x-intercept. And the next question says y equals to tan x, and we have to sketch the graph for the limit of 0 to 180 for x. Now, one thing you need to remember is that the graph of tan has asymptotes. Asymptotes are those points where your graph does not cross through. So if you find the value of tan 0, that's 0. If we find the value of tan 90, that's undefined, which means the graph does not exist at x equals to 90. Similarly, if you find the value of tan 180, that's 0 again. Which means you draw an asymptote at x equals to 90. Our graph is going to pass through x equals to 0 and x equals to 180, that we know. Now, next we need to see what is the shape going to be. So for tan, your shape is basically like this over here and like this here. This is your tan graph. As you can see, your graph is just above the x equals to 90 line. It's never going to cross it. And your graph is just above the x equals to 99 in this quadrant as well. Also, another thing you need to remember is that in your quadrants, this is your first quadrant, second quadrant, third, and fourth quadrant. Tan is always positive in the first and the third quadrant. And as you can see, from 0 to 90, which is the first quadrant, your tan graph is positive. And from 90 to 180, which is the second quadrant, your tan graph is negative. If it was from 180 to 70, then it would again be positive over here. And from 270 to 360, it would be negative again. So that's how you can figure out what your shape of the tan graph is going to be like. Solve the simultaneous equations. So x squared plus y squared equals to 9, y equals to x plus 3. So I'm going to substitute y equals to x plus 3 in the x square plus y. I'm going to substitute y equals to x plus 3 into x square plus y square equals to 9. So that's going to be x square plus x plus 3 whole square equals to 9. Expand the bracket. That's going to be x square plus 6x plus 9 equal to 9. Add the like terms. 2x square plus 6x plus 9. And bring the other 9 towards the left-hand side. So that's 2x square plus 6x equal to 0 now, because 9 minus 9 is 0. Now between 2x square and 6x, we have 2x common. That's going to be x plus 3 over here. One value of x is 0, and the other value of x is negative 3. Now to find the corresponding y values, we're going to do y equals to 0 plus 3 for x equals to 0, which is 3. And we're going to do y equals to negative 3 plus 3, which is going to be 0. So your coordinates are 0, 3, and we have negative 3 and 0. That is your answer. Given that 125 to the power of x equals to 25 to the power of x plus 5, find the value of x. We know 5 square equals to 25 and 5 cube equals to 125. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace 125 with 5 cube and 25 with 5 square. So all of these numbers are in the base of 5. So that's going to be 5 cube equals to 5 square whole power x plus 5. Now, one of the rules of indices are that when you have a power outside the bracket and inside the bracket, what you do is you multiply those powers. So it's going to be 5 cube equals to 5 to the power of 2x plus 10. Now, since the bases are the same on both sides and they're singular bases, so what we can do is we can put the powers equal to each other, which is another rule of indices. So we can do 3 equals to 2x plus 10. Base is given as like the same number, which is 5. So if the bases are same, that means the overall value would also be same. And for the overall value to be the same, since they're both equal to each other, the powers have to be the same. Hence, 3 is equal to 2x plus 10. Then we do 3 minus 10 equals to 2x, which is negative 7. And negative 7 divided by 2 is your value of x, which can be rewritten as a mixed number, which is going to be negative 3 whole number 1 over 2. And that's your answer.